Hi, you guys. It's MJ from All to Love. How are you? So today I want to talk about and I want to continue to noodle with. Hi, Great Muta. How are you? Manifestation and how do we kind of encapsulate and understand what we call the vortex or the grid. Now I'm talking specifically and I'm using language from Abraham Hicks, if in case any of you guys want to know. She, Esther, who channels Abraham, talks about or rather uses this language as a means for us to sort of conceptualize manifestation. And in essence, truly, like the vortex is the whole of your reality, your vortex. What do you see, feel, sense? Who are the people all around you? Abraham Hicks, Great Muta. There is infinite videos with her, and I would recommend any of them. They're all amazing, actually. So yeah, so your vortex of creation is everything that you feel, see, are. And then the grid is, I would say, the grid is actually more about closing the gap of the here now present state and the desired manifestation. Because what I'm increasingly aware of is the grid has like moving pieces, I want to say. The grid has moving pieces, and that's why I think the journey feels kind of so intense sometimes, and like we're just running around in circles, or it's not happening, or blah blah blue blue. It's that the ongoing life experience, as in the journey, is what fills the grid in to allow us to have the experiences that we're desiring to have, and then the ones that we want to learn from. Because in essence, if you think of desire and learning, and learning, I mean like the tough stuff, the growth stuff, the less than pleasant, the stepping outside of our comfort zone, the not being comfortable in our bodies, and blah 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 blah, and endeavoring to rise above that and to the desired place, a joyful life, a harmonious life, an abundant life, right? And that we can express that divinity, we can express that light and our truth into the world, and without fear, express it fearlessly. And awesome. So Abraham Hicks has a book called Thinkin'. Oh, I don't even know, actually. Anyway, you can even just like Google Abraham Hicks and all of her books will come up. And I have a book as well called The Fearless Life Guide. And you guys just love my random, like, I must remember to share that with people, really. Okay, so your vortex and the grid. So the vortex is what you're like focusing into so that you can fill the grid in a way that feels good for you, and then live in that grid, or live with that constructed grid. So the grid is really our thoughts projecting into the field. It's hey, thank you, sweet bracelets. They're both from Bali. I've slowly actually been taking jewelry off. I'm not sure. Normally, when I go through major life changes, I chop off my hair. And this cycle is the first transformational cycle where MJ has not chopped off her hair. And I'm really pleased. I had toe rings, and these toe rings were given to me by someone who used to be very special to me. And this person, by the end of the relationship, ended up treating me really really badly, and clearly didn't want me around or want me in her life. So I decided to take off the toe rings and sort of symbolically claim that as the end of a cycle of abuse, of people who just wanted to use me and then disregard me when I wasn't useful to them. People I genuinely cared about and genuinely supported and loved. And if any of you are other Aries there, although we have all our many faults like every other sign, but Aries are incredibly loyal, and Um, it's painful to let go for anyone. I'm not special. I'm not special because I feel pain when I'm letting go, but I'm even though I'm processing a lot of the emotional pain, I'm actually really relieved. Really relieved to not have to deal with this energy anymore, and I'm grateful for the lessons as well. And I also just because of a conversation I had recently, I really want to highlight and stress this point to people. When it comes to resolving situations, when it comes to forgiveness, it's only in our own heart. It's only ever in our own little heart that we need to forgive. And just because someone is having an emotional reaction, i.e., they're feeling aggression or they're feeling angry, that doesn't mean that they're in a state of unforgiveness. If anything, that's someone who hasn't dealt with their anger issues, projecting their issues onto somebody who's just feeling anger in that moment. When we have anger, it doesn't mean that we're in a state of unforgiveness. And this is how we can this is when we know we're in cycles of abuse ultimately as well, is because there's no clarity, there's no hearing, there's no understanding, there's no like depth. It's just people, pushing against each other. And that to me is again an easy enough sign for separation. If I'm just pleading for love or attention, then that's not love. That's not, it's a cycle of abuse. It's the fact that yeah. Anywho, I just want to reiterate that because in some recent situations, I've had people actually use my book against me and tell me because I'm feeling hurt or I'm feeling emotional that or angry that I can't feel anger because I wrote this book that had a few nuggets in it, which I appreciate from this person. Um, and and then I wanted to make that distinguishing factor. It's that just because I'm feeling something in the here now doesn't mean I'm in a state of unforgiveness. And actually that's usually the kind of polarity there is that someone like me who's been doing this work for quite some time, I don't especially like a really someone that was intimate with you and somebody that was who pretended to care about you, when they suddenly throw your work in your face and um look at me. Look at how easily I go into this stuff where I'm clearly still processing. Um, yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So basically, all the stuff I talk about in my book is stuff that you do inside your own heart. You don't have to sit in circles with people and resolve their shit for them. You don't have to. Um, hmm. Oh, hi. Oh, thanks. Um, right. So I want to talk about the vortex and the grid. These shares, I tell you what, these last couple days, like, or the last week or so, I can't, I'm clearly something about my own vortexual grid shift is changing slightly the dynamic of these shares. Hi, Violet Melon. How are you, How are you, darling? So, hi, Zeus. So, and then I've got thought and a bullet point with a question mark. Like, what has thought got to do with the vortex and the grid? And I started to actually feel my own grid. This is something because she talks about this expression of filling in the grid and closing the gap. And I realized that's why we need to give ourselves so much patience and love and nurturing and time and attention because we're so programmed to be so rushed, like so busy, rushing, busy, 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 busy. And if you stop or if you're tired, if you're sick, you're a failure and you should, right? So it's like just power through basically. And so So for the most part, when we dive into consciousness, when we dive into manifestation, there's so much thought activity and programmed busyness. It's tricky to break that down. And certainly I've noticed in my own life the how slow I've become, just how much rest I have, just how much self-love and nurture I do. Some days just to get through the day. There's no like parties over here. It's not like there's like this extravagant lifestyle, it's just peaceful and like having enough to pay rent. And, like most of us, just normal people, are really that. And there isn't this insane wealth. And yet the masses continue to just buy. Anyway, I don't know if I can keep this live. You guys, I am not on it today. I am not on it. It's because I keep going back into this very recent event that I'm letting go of. So, yeah. Okay, and so you could think of your vortex and your grid as aspects of your totality. And so there's always going to be a shifting grid depending on your vortexual alignment. And the vortex is like all that you are, and yet in alignment there's clarity in all that you are. When we're not in alignment and we're not aware of our vortex, then we're essentially just programming. We're just running the loop of the program that we were programmed with, our parents ancestry, or our ancestry, our karma, and that's all contained in the information of ourselves and the beingness and the energy stream that we are. So yeah, autopilot. I wonder what that is referring to. Oh, Banu, you are such a gorgeous soul. I feel you there as well, Banu. I This is a big shift. It just very recently, in fact, where it's like no, no. In fact, I've done some cutting cords ceremonies to really disentangle the connection between that expectancy. Um, I don't know your personal situation exactly. I have a feeling they're around you though. So it's always we always put ourselves, we always put ourselves in the best situation for the learning. But I'm here again to reflect. It ain't always that easy, right? Right, the unconscious programming when we're just on autopilot, right? And we all know that. And a lot of us, maybe as yoga teacher types or meditation teachers or people that did a kind of healing practice to move out of one systematic lifestyle to another systematic lifestyle, that with the continuing yoga journey, that was often, and I've spoken to other teachers about this, that was a part of a breakdown of the systematic imprint of trying to put yoga onto the system rather than actually transform the system, right? And that the more the yoga was working on us, it was like being an autopilot yoga teacher for the system was really no better. I mean, it is, but it was still killing me, kind of thing. It was still destroying me, and I started to see how we can often keep all those shitty paradigms in place. Um, I my soul personally started to get tired of just going to wealthy people's houses and giving them their weekly yoga. I started to feel like a slave. I started to feel like I was just their little doll. Like, I need to be stretched, stretch me. And I was obviously incredibly thankful for the money and the work, but after a while, and this is not like, in fairness, I still work with a lot of these amazing people, and I love them, and they're actually really beautiful, beautiful souls. But from time to time, I would have these certain experiences, and they were more rare than common among my private yoga client list. But as a means of income, and certainly the only stream of income I had at that time, um, you become reliant on playing the game, right? Sure, yeah, let's have a stretch. Yeah, and for me, the underlying deeper stuff was that people aren't changing. They're just putting yoga as another fitness program in their week. There's no fundamental shifting happening. There's no emotional ownership happening, right? Necessarily, unless people will come to that. And I started to feel, the more I expanded into this kind of stuff, edges of the yoga dynamic weren't working anymore. As in, yeah, just for me, it became next level to actually inspire and then teach self-responsibility versus just the yoga as far as the Western imprint of what yoga is. Especially because, let's face it, everybody thinks they know what yoga is. Oh yeah, yoga. Let's go to yoga. Let's do yoga. And to me, it's so ethereal. Like the actual, yeah, it like yoga is like this thing that's like all around us, and the yoga, the yoking, the spirit essence that is always here now, ready and willing for us to connect to and be with and shine with, and then for someone who's really connected to the spirit of the yoga, and then you go into busy cities and you go to busy towns and you go to these swanky studios and and you're just like, and I joke, I because I'm somebody as well, although it might sound like I'm dissing on it, the polarity of I'm like, I don't care. The more people doing yoga, the better, for real. Even if they're doing it like hardcore just for the fitness, a lot of us did it like that, and then it worked its magic, so yeah, I was having a chat with a fellow friend yoga teacher, and she also was saying that thing about God, like, because she's got two bases. One is more countryside and one is more city, and as she matures, she's just finding that going back into the city vibes is increasingly difficult. And then similarly, yeah, she finds that in these kind of busy city yoga studios, she's like, God, the yoga teachers are just as busy and stressed out as all the practitioners. And now she's an empath, right? So she can feel the energetic dance that's going on in these environments. And it's not like it's good or bad or right or wrong. It's just, I don't think, it's just that we're going to continue to evolve. That's all. We're going to continue to evolve. And again, the weird unraveling of all this is that the systematic construct imprints us to this goal, like this external future place that we're all meant to get to. And I guess the big like bubble or like bubble burst is like, there's no goal. There's nothing to achieve. There's nothing to get out there because we are there, and we've already done there. Because it's already been created, so we've already created. So it's like, oh, so hence slow down, sit, breathe, move. Like, I don't know, right? It's like, love yourself. Hi, red 49 Chevy. I don't know why that makes me think of just American road trip vibes. I love Divine Sight. Let's be yoga. Let's all go to Divine. Is it Dallas? Let's all go to Divine Sight's yoga studio and do yoga. We could have like a big. Oh, we could do that. We could organize something like that, like a weekend in Dallas, and then we team up and talk about the metaphysical imprint stuff, right? And intuition reigns supreme, by the way, because there's been a connection, and that was specific to actually something going on in my body. Oh my God. Like, what is this? What is this? What is love? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to meditate across the vibrashe. So, Anne, could I just put it out there? Like yesterday, or even 2-3 days build up. I think it was even the day before the full moon. So now, shit, that's like 5 or 6 days ago. Holy manoli, there has just been a whole lot of tears. Gush, gush, vibrashe, like just like. and like really deep stuff. But at the same time, the tears that I'm feeling this time, I'm feeling pretty relieved. Oddly, I'm like, oh, thank. As in, it feels like these final releases, like I'm never gonna cry again. But these final releases with regards to this culmination cycle. So a lot of us have maybe changed our home life, or we've changed our career life, or we've changed whatever. Pardon me. And now we're just almost starting to get used to it, but not really. All is already divinely yours. God. Yeah. Breathe into it as it breathes into us. Such lovely expressions, Tree Hugger Dave. You guys feel me? That one? Okay, so I'm just going to work through the bullet points and see what juice flies out of my mouth. So, feeling connection. And again, this is to do with you as the manifester, you as the creator in the container of your vortexual reality, which is like your perception and all the feelings and stuff that goes with it. And then the grid. And the grid is the actual sacred geometric patterns that are establishing themselves around you as you continue to work with your vibration, as you continue to work with your thought. And again, the reason emotion is so relevant to this, again, because it's the emotional. This is where so many decent insights I get about this when it comes to this emotional stuff, and the reason people are like, oh, like, and then especially when, and I'm picking up on this kind of language as well, when people are like, oh, have a think about it. And I've swapped all that language around. I'm like, feel into it. And I know that a lot of you guys do this anyway. Like, can you feel into this? Is this an alignment for you? So this is us transforming that language. But when I'm now facing my old reality, I can see that the old reality is still very much in their head. They're not in their heart, and they don't even know how to be in their heart necessarily. And that triggered a memory of like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when I first started my yoga teaching, even when I was teaching, and you know that part of our journey when we start the teaching, and then maybe we're starting to do all these healing modalities and stuff like that. And yeah, just so I'm doing all this yoga and this healing, and people are like, feel your heart and da da da. And I so often just would be like, what the fuck are they talking about? And I can't quite express the revelatory, miraculous nature of opening our heart, and at the same time, all this pain that comes out, all these denied bits, all these lost bits, all these unremembered bits, all these like, and that's the crying. That's where the return to innocence is just us. Every pain body, every reaction, every stored memory of pain is just in waves coming out of us, coming out, coming out, coming out. So yesterday and this week has been no different, I imagine, and have had that reflected back to me from my share yesterday when I just put a picture of my face crying because I was just crying all day yesterday. And loads of you reflected back that you're in the same space, that you've been purging. You guys know I don't like the word. Primordial wounds, precisely. And so many of us now, as the empath, now that we're really empowering ourselves and breaking free from narcissistic abuse, that's the next wave of healing. Because now there's a huge jump ship as far as entangled karmic patterns of enslavement and false mastery through fear and domination and control. So the people who victimized us, or people who, and one of the biggest things to notice is like, did you like, it's this, it is on a physical, factual level. If you look at a situation, were people supported and protected? Did they have all these things lined up? Were they embedded? Did they have community? And then, what kind of situation did you have? And then how did they treat you? So I'm like, you can just look at the facts. You don't have to defend yourself. If you know the truth in your heart, you know the truth in your heart. And this is something I've noticed with narcissism, is that they will repeatedly trigger you and bring out the worst. And yet they'll want to keep bringing it back, because again, your empathy serves them. So it takes a lot of healing to get to a point where you're not going back into that abuse, because they feed off of it. Essentially, they feed off of the drama of it. And I've had this 2 times now where I've stepped back from narcissistic abuse and then had people and even third party people come into my reality and tell me that I have to go back and fix it. And I'm like, but I'm not the one who behaved badly. I'm not the one who acted out and was mean. In the story, as it were, was the victim. So sorry, no, I don't think the victim should feel obliged or responsible to go back into situations where they were traumatized and hurt by people to help resolve the issue for them. Because by this point, the empath already knows that those people don't want to resolve it. And if they do, they could very well be lying. Because the reason we end up in these situations is because they lie to our face already. And they gossip behind our back. So I'm like, pardon me, I'm just at a point where I'm going to protect myself because I've been damn near destroyed by narcissists throughout my life. And at this point, I don't care whether people are narcissistic. At this point, I just want to fend for myself. And for the first time in my fucking life, I'm standing up for myself. And my God, it feels good. I think about all the narcissists that I've worked for and stood up for and tried to be a good person for and worked for nothing for. And now I'm just going, no, actually, I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to fucking live for myself. I'm going to create a beautiful life for myself. And the people who want it, they can buy it. But I'm done giving stuff away for free to people who don't give a shit. And they don't actually want to work. They just want to tap in and steal a bit of your sparkle. So this is my venting. I'm still breaking free. I'm still claiming my power, but I got to say it feels good. And as I express, fucking hell, you guys, holy shazbot. The emotion this week is just like, ugh, I'm just crying a lot. And again, all the tears are just so gushy and like sleeping. It's what time is it? It's 4 now, but I woke up at like 2 this morning. Although there's been some amazing breakthrough in some people, the community, and it's just so beautiful. Yeah, tree hugger, exactly. And like that is the hurty thing at this point where people are like, you need to sort this out. And I'm like, I have. Like, I'm good. I'm just gonna continue like living my life. I'm tired of being responsible for other people, especially because again, I'm like, we all know this. Like, forgiveness is our own personal fucking journey. You know what I mean? Hey, Capitilla! I'm pretty sure that's Revel, isn't it? You guys. You cheeky guys and all of your like multiple handles. I only have one other handle, which is all to love. Actually, not even the other. Revel, little sneaky. But thank you, I really appreciate that. Mega hot love vibrashe. Your fertile clouds carry here also. Hi, Fifth. How are you, my beauties? Healing is our responsibility. Lori, thank you. Right? That's the increasing, that's kind of like the increasing flow with me. It's like, it's just here and I'm just going to work here because I want to heal. I want to keep healing. And I get that sometimes where other people, if they're not on the path, they're a bit like, just deal with it already. Like, just deal with your healing. Like, deal with da-da. And I'm like, oh, okay. But this is why I'm stepping away, Heal thyself. That's all. And that's why I step away, because it's not about being some perfect person, but at the same time, if people project onto you some bullshit, you best walk away. Because it doesn't feel nice. And healing is our own responsibility. And it is only in our own healing that we have any potential to heal other. That honestly, when you're on this journey, everything changes. Everything is flipped around. In the 3D world, in fairness, doctors can be just as sick and toxic as anybody else. In truth, spiritual healers can be just as toxic as anybody else. Yoga teachers, my God, some of the the best yoga teachers that I've worked with, ooh, wouldn't necessarily want to cross them on a bad day. Like, and again, that has been my teaching. That has been some of my most profound teaching of seeing that polarity. So here's like, okay, some of you guys will get this. This is like also something about my own person and like this genuine desire for truth, for reality. It's that even as a child, when I was dealing with the anorexia and the bulimia, and I was getting bigger. This is the weird my understanding of manifestation as well. Even though I was starving myself and or throwing up everything that I was putting into me, I was ballooning because of the fear and various other physiological issues when you start doing that to your body. Um and oh, it's gone. Don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um Teachers, divine sight, for sure. And I reckon that's where a lot of us are meeting here. It's that we've gone into like the yoga trade or the yoga industry with this like yoga, oh my God, it's the way, where there's another collective that are using it for their egoic gratification. Which again, a lot of us, I'm not calling people out. I'm just like, I get it. We're all like we're all working through this weird bullshitty ego stuff all at once. So when I call people out, it's sort of like me calling myself out as well. And seeing other as a polarity of behavior is also what helped me go, I don't want to be like that. I want to be the real deal. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about, bulimia, anorexia, and then it was like the thing for me about airbrushing and digital um whatever, the thing that makes us look basically perfect on photographs. Like, okay, fair enough. But to me, that I'm like, I don't care about, like, for me, I'm like, I want to just feel fucking beautiful and happy in my body. I don't, I air, fuck airbrushing. I'm like, what does, oh, big deal. I look great on a picture that's been fucking tweaked by digital whatever. But when I look in the mirror, I'm still, right? Where I'm like, no, no, no. I want it to be the real deal. If love is meant to transform our bodies and create this beautiful expression, I want to genuinely feel in love and feel like I can show up in this divine, radiant expression, unapologetically. And sometimes it takes, and I just don't get all of this weird influencer world of Facetune. Have you guys heard of this? Again, from this thing that I watched, where girls, even fucking apparently like the big guns, the supermodels, the those Kardashian chicas, it's like already like just divine goddesses, and then they're using these apps to make their waist even smaller and to make to make them almost look unreal, if I'm honest with you. But I'm like, but what, like, it's not real. That's not how you actually look. So how does that feel good? Like, to me, I actually want to look like that. I want to feel like that. I want to da da da. So I'm like, I'm going to embody it so that I can project it, not sit there on my computer being like I need to look as my waist has to be skinnier than the other girls. And then, but then when you call it out, you're like, you're it's not real. I don't know. I bet you guys will so get that, right? Fifth world. Oh my geez. Fifth world. Spot on. Because that's our generation. That's what we grew up with, was the fake bras. The push-up bras or whatever. Or chicken cut. Yeah. Well, and another flip is also for us in the 90s. The ideal image was this sort of heroin chic, it was called. It's very, hence my anorexia, because I needed to be basically look like a fucking rake and like I was dying. So yeah, that was the kind of propagated image of the 90s, was this sort of anorexic look in the fashion world. And now what we have is bootylicious. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm like, bum implants. So this is, and I know like for other people this has been around for probably decades, but like it's still quite like, because I'm not attuned to the social media or the mainstream media, I come across these things, I'm like, oh my God, who wants an ass that big? Imagine sitting down, you'd have an it's just and it's not that I'm saying it's not beautiful. I just it I it's and it's similar to like maybe in the 90s when the Pamela Andersons were getting these huge big breasts, and then I was in the 90s going through puberty taping down my boobs because I was so ashamed. Right. So there, this is the weird world that we live in. Gracious love. Aw. So she's saying it's not like just your anorexia, right? It is the dis-ease of the entire paradigm. Yes, absolutely. And yet it's very relevant, and I can significantly say, so I had, and all of us will have had specific times, at ages, so 5, 6, and then 12, 13, puberty. And that was a time of the anorexia and stuff like that, because my body was changing uncontrollably and I was frightened. And um it is a huge control thing for sure. Yeah, the booty and implants is when I was like, I'm out, right? Yeah, I just was like, oh my God, we're now so for most of my life, it was all about how skinny you could be, and then now suddenly we're it's not even, it's just completely modified, in a sense. And I just don't get it, because I'm like, then you meet these influencer people in real life and they don't really look like how they look like in real life, or maybe they do. I don't. Thanks, thanks. But here's the thing, capitula, revel. Um, it's like, it's just love. It's just, and these dark times, these last few months have been kind of like a lot of, yeah, needing the love heart vibration a massive way, because there's been so little energy to do anything. Thank you, gracious love and MJ. No, thank you, Fifth. Time now. I feel reborn. Yay. Yay, Chic. How are you? Yeah. Santa, Satan, interesting, metaphysical mama. Matrix, like this is how you're supposed to look and to be accepted. That's why they're all puppets. That's the weird thing about the programming. And like, do they know they're being the puppet, or do they just think they're really lucky? This is the thing about people in that realm of using their life as a means to expose, sell products, and ultimately sell a lifestyle, propagate a certain lifestyle, propagate an ideal, and here's the thing, is it the system, is it doing it to us, or are we it? And I actually think it's one and the same. I think that we have to continue to drop into like what is true and real and what's really valuable to us, and then eventually we can become a more dominant voice, a more dominant, not even voice, right? Because words don't teach, vibration does. We can just become a more dominant energy. And we know this in a lot of our spiritual communities and channels, that we are now living in a time where these energies that we've felt and known and experienced all of our lives, these energies are actually what's going to start sweeping, and is now sweeping across the collective. That's part of why we might not see the future here now, but that's why we're being placed, that's why we're being called, hosting retreats, having our studios, meeting our family, meeting the people that in our heart we just know, we know what we're here for, we know what we're here to do. There's a familiarity, we've met before. Like some of us have lived in community before we got ripped apart and burned alive. So, yeah. So the feeling connection is what we're working on, that, and primarily that. Recognize that the people are like, you're too emotional. I'm like, yeah, it's not like I'm all emotion. I am present with the emotion and thinking as well. Like, this is what gets me, because the emotion has just been so denied and people are so frightened of it. They're like, whoa, 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 calm down with those emotions. And I'm like, okay. Like, it's not like when somebody's getting emotional, they're just this like uncontrollable, like, again, like you're in the middle of the ocean in a storm. No, 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 no. Like, especially if you've been practicing emotional groundedness and awareness in emotional storming, you can actually have extraordinarily clear, divine, and logical thought in emotion. You just need to be present. You need to not get swept away in the emotion. You need to go, okay, what's that? What's this? Feeling anxiety, panic, fear, anger, rage. You can feel any number of those and just feel it and be there and go, okay, why am I feeling this? My recent encounter with a friend where they were like, I was trying to get through them. Like, what are you feeling? I'm just feeling all this stuff and I'm doing my best to discern it. But apparently you feel nothing and are just trying to tactically try to kind of squeeze and shut down the emotion, and basically claim that the emotion is reactive and wrong and bad, and that the calmness that the other exhibits is the right way to be. I'm like, no, 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 you're just repressing all of your emotion. If there's annoyance, there's anger, there's going to be bound to be a whole bunch of convoluted, multi-layered emotional frequency underneath the anger. But for a lot of men, they're frightened of expressing anger. They're afraid, especially, they're imprinted that anger leads to violence, that what have you. And so they're so fucking effective at bottling their anger. That's why for a lot of us as empaths, we're walking away from people that don't express themselves, from people that don't express their emotion and continuously make you wrong for feeling what you feel. It's like nobody gets to win in that environment. And then what I have are these people being like, well, you need to resolve, you need to fix this issue. And I'm like, I didn't do it. I've been here in service, I've been helping you all out, and you've shat on me over and over and over again. I'm done. Sorry, I'm tired of making excuses. You shat on me, you deal with it. I've had to deal with my karma. I've had to deal with all the shittiness that I've done to other. And it's not happy and comfortable, but for the most part, we all do it to each other. So we're all going to have to lift the lid and deal with our shit regardless. So it's like, I love ya, hugs, but your life, go live it. I'm over it. It's boring to me now. People's privileged drama of whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we all actually genuinely cared about our own freedom. And or we do, except when it gets uncomfortable or it gets facing our shadow and we're like, I'll just go back over here. I'll just go back to these people. I'll just push you away because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to look at that. That's okay. So it's opening our mind, and then we basically, so this kind of community, light worker community, earth worker, divinity path worker, empath, decent human. No. It's like, okay, so we open our mind, and it's very much this sense of we are the cosmic gateway. So our beingness and all of this wisdom, this coding that we receive from our cosmic origins, from the remembrance of our universality, that is what is so. And all these waves that we talk about, if we can break it down and make it simple, all these energy waves that we're all sitting with and being like all of that is actually one and the same as all the new energy coming in. So we're having these. And this is what I was saying in a few of the videos recently, where I'm like, I'm integrating things, but it's a little bit slow. And it's like having a way to describe the sense perception of what I'm feeling is just interesting to me, because it's like I can feel a mathematical grid now. And I was never able to perceive that. And now it's like there's a fluidity and a flow and a vibration. And then also when it comes to like your own personal life path or destiny, there's like mathematical constellation or configuration. And ultimately, it's a discernment point in your own heart field of like, because everything is, because you're basically in the regenesis. I feel like that's actually what it is that once we've stepped out of our codependencies and our yeah, are the subtle ways that we people please or what have you, then we truly do step into the here now present state where it's always a perpetual regenesis. So in essence, what we're doing is that we're not attracting in all these deep unconscious scary things anymore. We're not unconsciously attracting in these karmic situations where people fuck us over to teach us lessons. We're essentially manifesting the here now, and that has a lot to do with the event. It has a lot to do with the event horizon. It's that this regenesis, this is my dream come true, and this is what I focus on. I focus on you guys. you know And I allow that to be the manifested dream so that I continue to work with that dream in the same way that I outworked all of my karma, right? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Caterpillar. I love my mind too. um, so attracting in benevolence, sure, for sure. Tree hugger, like all of us so much. Lori, I know. And oh God, it's like hard, isn't it? When you realize like this also, I love you and this is an amazing conversation and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, I forget. I only, the only way I remember is when I get those biofeedbacks from people who, obviously I've got clients, I've got good friends who are more or just in different situations where I'm aware that like either a hive consciousness mind um uh, or like the energy of metropolis affects the sensitives, and I'm seeing that in people where they're also being guided to leave cities now, because their energy is just taking a like they're just feeling the impact of it way more hardcore. And then I forget, but then I remember, because now I'm starting to work with people who are like, holy shit, I I need to feel this, I need to have this release. Or still hearing young men, I mean, like, I don't cry. And I'm like, and that men projecting all these concepts of like, you just want money, or I'm working hard to provide and all this stuff. And I'm like, when was that the only thing that mattered? And like, it's also really weird when things like that happen that you're like, that's not at all who I am, though. Like, weird when projections are not even coming from that relationship. And projections are coming from society or family. And there again, if people aren't meditating, if people aren't staying present with their emotions, they're not conscious necessarily of their unconscious. And so they're just projecting and they just think that they're right and true and real. Fuck you, bitch. You don't even know what you're talking about. Big fucking deal you wrote a book. I don't give a shit. And they might lace it in nice language, but underneath the niceness of the language is venom, jealousy, toxicity. Who do you think you are? How dare you? How dare you tell me what to do? That's anger. That's resentment. That's jealousy. That's vengeance. Because the light, the codes that we carry just trigger the darkness, the unworthiness, the insecurity, but they don't want to own up. They don't want to face it. They don't want to deal with the fact that they have shame, guilt, insecurity, and victimhood. It's just so interesting to me. And I love being able to noodle, and I love, but even when I noodled at university, people laughed, and people shunned and all of that. So I'm really, really thankful that at this point that I randomly have access to this YouTube, this internet, and that you guys are all here. Like, how blessed is this? Also because there's no doubt in my mind that we actually need each other. We need to be offloading to other empaths who fucking get what it's like to live in this world as an empath where there's so much pain and denial and destruction, and everybody's just going, and the empath is like, stop, it's hurting, because it is. And people are just, they're just consuming over all the pain that's layered and convoluted and stew-like and deep. And then more and more and more of us are having lids pop off. So that we can be like, guys, stop, in a very calm, collected, and hopefully cool way, like a hopefully just fun. And that was something I remember when I had my astrological reading, and my astrologer was like, you're going to be online. You're going to have an online business and career. And again, don't know where, not sure where he's going with this, although this happened earlier and it came back. So we're good to go. Oh, coolness, a cool factor. So when this guy was like online, and even then, around the time that I was still probably finishing just the short manuscript of the Fearless Life Guide, that was something I really, pardon me, I was really quite invested in. Somebody laughed because it was like coffee burps, and I'm like, I'm having coffee burps, everybody. Oh yeah. And so that was my thing, because of the angle with which, and my weirdness of coming at all the yoga vibrashe and being the weird yoga girl who could see through the veils, who like didn't want to bow and kiss the feet of fucking Patabi Joyce. I'm like, what? He's a guy. I don't feel this need to go up to his painting after Ashtanga practice and be like, I love you, Patabi. I'm like, I think I'll just do that inside my heart and just be kind to all people. Not give these anyway. And there again, there's always polarity when I express. I'm thankful for these gurus. I'm thankful for these lineages of men and traditions of yoga that have come down through the line of humanity to offer us this beautiful practice, for sure. But we are that. I mean, heck, a lot of us empaths, you guys will get this, the yoga teacher vibrashe. Like, straight up, when you did your first yoga class or you read your first yoga book, you already knew it. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a collective of us that were like high priestess, like sex goddesses in way back when. And like, I have this really weird memory of like actually women that are in my life now as goddesses of, and it's poignant. It makes me sad because it must have been the end of a civilization, right? But I remember killing us all. That's right, my goddess friends. As in, we went into the sarcophagus or whatever, and we closed the tombs. We didn't come back, but we were alive. So I have, and it's trauma memory, but actually, as I reawaken that memory, I'm like, we did agree to that. Like, I didn't try to kill you. We agreed to go because the darkness was coming. Weird. I know that may or may not res with anyone's, but so all of that sex goddess information of the Isis and the Magdalenes, that's all coming back, right? Divine sight, clearly, because we know each other, obviously. As in, right, we read our first book, we went to our first class, I'm like, I remember my cells. Oh, so you know that, and you know that, it's kind of weird to look up, but you know that thing when you like blow everything out and then you go, I used to do that when I was a kid. Like, I just did it. And a lot of us, again, as these yoga meditation teachers, we just meditated. We were just weird fucking kids that would just sit there. Yeah. And we would do weird shit. And like, my sister or my family would be like, you're an alien! Because I would do these crazy, like, muscular contractions, which are called bandhas in yoga or kriya, and they're healing and they're energy lock. So it's like learning how to do the energy. Divine sight. I'm like, we're the same person. Pretty much. Metaphysical mama. Totally. Totally. I love comments. Like, I don't know, there's certain things that just bring this real balance of like, exactly. This is the thing about judgment, right? Even carrying grievance, and people might judge me, but I'm like, I'm not actually carrying judgment. I'm not as in, if I am, it will become apparent to me, and then I can work through it. Obviously, but that we've all had to be very strong, and even the people, even like there's just so much fucking love, and this is what people don't get. Walking away doesn't mean you don't love. That's why I had to write my book. Because I'm aware that I've walked away, and I'm aware that those people could project and think horrible, nasty things about me because I walked away. But I walked away in a place of love because intuition just said, if you want that, then you're going to have to walk away from that. And it would break the heart, but in truth, it was the right thing to do, And it's not like any of these people have ever tried to reach out or be like, "Hey, I know things kind of ended bad," or da da da. None of these people ever tried to. And most of this was times where I was extraordinarily vulnerable, very vulnerable, very alone in the world, and having to protect myself, having to save myself. Um, so I'm not going to beat myself up, but no, of course I'm not going to carry judgment because we've all got the very strongholds. We all try and skip fences or break in or go where we should not. Yes, we do. So of course I'm going to let my perpetrators, my persecutors, I'm going to let those people go. Be free, be happy, go explore your dreams, go love yourself, please, Not even please, just go love yourself, cuz that's what I do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And it feels good. And my life might not be perfect. And I sure as hell know that I'm not perfect, but I don't even care anymore. I don't expect other people to be perfect. I don't want to lord over people. It's just literally, it's like most of us just what, you just want to be able to live in peace. You just want to have good connections. And I got to say, that's the reality that I'm living now. Again, I've said this, but I'm like, in a miraculous leap, you go from being a slave teaching yoga 24/7 into working with some of the most magical people in the world online. Freedom break. Took me 6 years to create this life, but I'm like, yeah, it's happening. So it's like, shit, any of us can do it then, right? But us living in denial of our emotions doesn't work. Abraham would testify. And we keep attracting in. It might look different, but we're going to keep attracting in the same pattern of vibration unless we go deep and uproot the pattern that's causing it. And there's the thing about going deep. It's when we go into the deep recesses of those emotional fields that we can see certain thought projection, like hatred. I hate you. I hate you. If we don't go into those depths, we don't know that we're hating people, even people we think we love. If we haven't dealt with some of our deeper layers of unworthiness, shame, and guilt, you can bet your bottom dollar that out of those deeply held unworthinesses, shame, guilt, you're gonna get some jealousy. You're gonna get some venom, because that shame and guilt is like a big pile of vom inside ourselves. And if we're disconnected, then we don't even know it's there. And that is what most of us, and a lot of us in different parts of our journey, is what we're waking up to. I've told you the story of like my really conscious initial shifting of shame and guilt in like 4 days of just being like, and it literally felt like tar. It was like moving through tar and just like wanting to crawl out of my skin and like hating everything and hating everyone. And then I'm like, "Oh my god, I never knew. I never knew that I had so much shame." And then the shame keeps kinda coming up, but it's fleeting. I'm like, "Oh, that's a little bit of shame there. Interesting. Ding." Or guilt, or like, "Ooh, I'm disgusting." But then I'm like, "I'm not here to judge you, buddy. What? What?" So you just keep loving on yourself? Revel. Revel. No. Metaphysical mama, clearing it all. All pipelines. That's resonant for some reason. Synchronicities, mo. Synchronicities are just happening like everywhere. It's all good. Um, to the root and under. Yes, metaphysical mama. You feel me? You hear me? It's not, it's like there's a pain and there's a wound inside, and it's not like you just go to the wound. It goes like, that's usually where my light family show up. Like I could just be lying in bed, like, like going to the depth. And then it's like certain things penetrate, and then suddenly you're like, and there's like, yeah, they come down. They just come down and hang out around me when. And again, they're an aspect of my imagination. They're just these pillars of light. And when I'm deep in the thick fog of transformation, they descend. They usually make some kind of configuration around my body. And then there's often these light tools. So this was a really weird one. But like in mermaid world, there's like those spears, those like merman spears. Um, again, this is weird, but like in my consciousness, and I'm lying in an emotional storm, and I had like one of the light beings come up and put a spear around my throat. But obviously the spear was all divine light, and it was like healing all of this stuff around my throat. I've often had light filled daggers enter my heart and like heal these little um just blocks basically. So there you go. That's some divine healing for you. Trident. Ding 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 ding. Thank you, Violet Melon. Realizing how people, oh, look, you're all there. You've all said it. I was just blabbering on. Realizing how people put shame and guilt onto you, this is huge, is part of the clearing. Like, this has been a huge awakening for me in these last, like, couple of years, building up momentum, is that I kept making excuses for those covert ways people were making me feel guilty, and I was denying that I was feeling guilty and not, this, because this is why it's all fucked. This is why, in a weird way, even though, but no, like physical violence is easier to deal with because everyone can be like, that was violent. This shit is invisible. This shit is covert, which is why we end up going round in cycles, usually a few more times, perhaps, maybe not. But we have to work it out in the self because the other isn't working it out. And we assume as the empath, everyone else is working it out, but they're not. They just want us to do what they want us to do. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Shiva has a trident. I don't know why I need to write that down. Maybe there's some sort of symbol or symbology for us. They're just used to us giving. Yeah, because we love giving so much. We feel so good. We don't realize how much we get out of being the savior, out of being the hero, right? It feels so good. We're such a good girl. We're da da da. And again, that's the polarity. We all have a shadow. I know we all like to play the big, either the hero or the victim, right? But we all have a shadow. We can all be the villain as well. And the more of us that can kind of contain the wholeness of that polarity, then we can start to look at that polarity in other, which means we have to start seeing and addressing the shadow in all the people around us, and including the fucking world of celebrity and all these people out there in the media or whatever. Who cares? God. Like, all of us are just human beings trying to figure out why we worship people. It boggles my mind. Oh, I know, because we all hate ourselves. Oh, yeah, right? Someone has to process that shit, right? And I gotta say, this empath community, I want to send a big heart love vibration because I feel like there's a bunch of us in the depths of shit. And that, like, 94% of it is not our shit. It's the collective fucking unconscious that people are just like, yeah, they don't want to deal. So us empaths are like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like feeling just this, yeah, just this intensity. Ooh, yeah, the brightest light casts the longest shadow, right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, right. And this is where, again, you guys are actually reflecting. I'm like, "Yeah, see, my book is but there's so much validity in the book." I'm like, and because this is where I was taking a bit of a leap, right? Where hi, Celie Jane. There's so much depth right now, and like, yeah, the last like 2 3 days, I've been clearing so much and like crying loads, no will to live, essentially. But there is, I'm not. There's not. I'm not complaining. It's just been really, really deep, and um, clearing it. Yes, feeling it and clearing it for the collective. And this is where I was taking that leap in my book, being like, I'm pretty sure that if we go really deep and if we have the capacity as a being to go this deep into our emotional field and love and heal and clear all the division and control, manipulation and pain and revenge and all that sickness and darkness and fear and denial, right? If we can do that and we're all one and we're all in a quantum field of manifestation, surely if one of us is doing it, we're doing it for everybody. And then other empaths are like, yes, holy shit, this is real, as in because our vibrations are creating the reality that we're seeing. And then most people aren't fucking dealing with their emotions, but we're empathic, and so we literally feel fucking everything. And I'm like, okay, let's just keep feeling, let's just keep burning through it and burning through it and burning through the pain. Let's just keep doing it. But this is why we need each other, because it's so fucking deep and it's so painful, and we have been ridiculed and shunned by humanity for almost every fucking lifetime, if not every single lifetime. So we need to be having these conversations with one another to remind one another that we're not crazy and that we're doing work, and that the work that we do is fucking valuable, that we're not out of it, that we're doing valuable work for the collective of humanity. And the more of us that claim that as our truth, the more that the world and the system itself will actually start to place itself in its grid the way we desire it to be, not the way it was sort of imprinted or embedded here. It's the reversal. We're hence go down into the depth and uproot it. We're digging deep into those foundations. And in fairness, in the spiritual ethereal metaphysical manifestation, it's already been done. So a lot of the embedded dark forces, as in the false blueprint of this planet, the grid, the system, the matrix, mhm, that has been, we basically, the last 100 years, that there has been work doing where people have been working on the earth grid, actually uprooting the energies. And now it's just shifting boom, boom, in waves, in drones, as it meets the solar wave, and as it comes into the binary solar system. So it's just being bombarded with light that is shifting the grid that has been disembedded, the grid that we've removed. And now we're filling in the beauty. We're filling it in with love. We're filling it in with compassion. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise. And that is something that I'm getting a lot better at. Good or bad, I'm not going to let anyone tell me who I am anymore. 'Cause it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long someone's been in your life. It doesn't matter the dynamic of the relationship. At any point, there can be a shift. And if people make you feel bad about who you are, then you don't need them in your life. Uh, my personal opinion. I'm just, I know I'm not. It's just yeah. It's just interesting to me that people want to attack your character and then they say, "Oh yeah, but I love you and I want to be with you." I'm like, "But you don't like the essence of who I am." You're allowed know it all. Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't feel that way about myself, but I guess that's how you perceive me. But then you're meant to kind of want that or something. I don't know. Very confusing to me. And that was something that was a part of the paradigm I kind of grew up in, was all these people hanging out with each other, and then when they're not around each other, they're talking shit about each other, and I just always found that really hurtful, and I was like, "Why are they doing that?" And then you realize they're doing it about you too! Even though you're trying to be such a good person and talk nice about people all the time and blah, 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 blah. And then you realize that we all have these aspects and shadows. I'm just somebody who's endeavoring to call them out. I'm just the same as any other girl. I get jealous and da da da. Da. I just endeavor to bring it to the awareness, bring it to the light of my awareness rather than react against it, rather than act against it or toward it or be inspired by it. I don't want to be jealous of other women. I want to be proud of people. I want to be happy for people genuinely. And hence I'll call it out. I can call it out if I still get triggered by people who are doing so fucking great. Good for them. But it's true. Yeah, metaphysical. Hence that's dualism. That's the divide and conquer construct. If you're good, we're gonna reward you. When you're bad, naughty, life is gonna go shits for you. And again, you can see that deep within there is teachings in these constructs, and yet they're all flipped. They've all been used against us to control and manipulate us, essentially, you could say. So we've put those contrasts as external archetypes to embody, and yet we don't realize that we're all the archetype, that we are all the I know no people are not going to want to hear this, but we're the Hitler and the Jesus. um I'm trying to think of a polarity for a female. We're, I don't know when, but you know what I mean? The women, or the goddess and the hag, I guess, or the witch, right? The bad witch. That's right, metaphysical mom. That's where most of us have to keep coming back into compassion and love. It's like, oh yeah, we all did it. Ah, oh yeah, we're all part of it. Like, right. hmm The master and the slave, right? Right, and that's something I literally have had this very visceral sense memory connection of like, oh, I've been the peasant, I've been the slave, I've been these people every fucking lifetime. I've been a slave to these people and or their kingdom, right? And they were my executioners. They were my masters. And I just to stay alive, I had to play a slave. I had to be that slave. And I'm realizing like there were people, significant people in my life that I've just been a fucking slave to. And I'm thanks to you guys going, I don't have to be a slave no more. I can be free. And then by example and by your guys' example, there will be people around us who maybe not openly, but they go, I wonder if I could break free too. Mhm. La 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 la. uh who's Lizzie Borden? So she obviously, if it's Mother Teresa, the Lizzie Borden must be the negative archetype, right? A murderer. Okay. I figured as much. I can't think of a female Hitler. No, because women weren't allowed to lead in that regard as a figurehead. However, did Hitler have a wife? Did Hitler have a? I mean, let's be honest. Whether it was a man or a woman, nobody's leading in singularity. In truth, Hitler had a fucking army of people to do his bidding. So are they any better or worse? I don't know. Than the mastermind? They all joined in. So in a flip there, you could say that the women that align themselves in with the men who are slaughtering babies, then those women are just as nasty, right? We know that power is intoxicating. People get we can get really like it's just that we all have had the fortunate advantage of being bombarded with the disparity of violence, and so we don't want it. We had that memory quite early on. Ugh, man. Oh man. Wowzers, isn't it wild, that kind of stuff? Like, oosh, gosh. No, we don't like to think about it's that. It's all of us, all of our lives. I'm like, I, why did you do that? Like, yeah, I feel that, Lori. At this point, I'm sort of there. I'm feeling like if you just stand by and watch people do really mean and horrible shit, you're just with it. You're with that. That's for me personally part of these times where I'm like, if I don't, who will? You know, if I don't talk about these things that are very important to me because I feel like there's injustice in the world, who will? You know, because in the past we've seen people stay silent and look what goes on. A man like Hitler manages to manipulate the masses and kill how many millions? I don't know, a lot. um yeah. Hi Michael or Michelle. Yeah, 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 right. Yeah, and I'm trying to wrap my head around neutrality and fairness. Not wrap my head around. It has nothing to do with wrapping my head around anything. I sit with neutrality. I really do a lot. Obviously, that's what meditation is about. Like you hold within your own vortex and container the allowance of the all polarity. So in a weird way, there's actually no judgment either. This man thought what he was doing was right. And again, if you're not attached to life as an ultimate thing, there's nothing actually inherently bad or wrong about death necessarily. It's all contract. It's all contractual manifestation being outworked. hmm It's kind of like that. Just keep swimming. Just keep riding out the waves. Even when we cannot see, I'll go through. Right, for sure. I feel that as well. Center of the pendulum swing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all on the same page. It's like you just come back to this. Chris P. Precise. He was a vessel. And even when we're not in judgment of polarity, can we not see the value? The world as we know it was already in war cycle after war cycle. The fact that he was able to do what he did shocked humanity for the most part. So you're right. There is still a function in the polarity of evil, you know? We're living in very similar times though, right? Like, state of affairs are not great over in America. The state of affairs here are not great in Britain. You know, people are tired and hungry and pissed off and 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 at a loss, confused. People don't know what the fuck is going on. Even our fucking leaders don't know what's really going on, you know? So hence, those of us who are tuned to various veils of existence, we need each other and we need to be grounded because there's a whole bunch of leadership mentality in the collective that on an egoic sense think they know, and I don't think they know. I don't think it's true. I don't think we'll know until it's here. And in the sense that we can continue to plant seeds. And I think this next, say, summer months will just stay steadfast in holding the vision of our divine manifestation. Steadfast, like this is what we are doing. There's no going back. New earth is here now. New paradigm. No, we don't tolerate that. We operate from the heart. We're standing firm. That's why so many of us in our personal lives are having to stand up for ourselves. It's why I'm not watching anything, I'm not looking at anything, I'm not reading anything, I'm not blah, 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 blah. I'm staying steadfast, centered in my intuitive capacity so that I am in pure alignment with divine grace. I'm like, I don't have space, time, or energy, or any fucking will whatsoever to get reentangled in drama, to get reentangled in a bunch of stuff that I just don't care about anymore. Because I'm like, this is on. Humanity's got to shift up into the heart space, right? Oh, so that empath can dominate. No. Well, and then when I say all that stuff, and then I kind of go, and then who cares? Just come back to me and just love, just have love, just keep loving, just keep swimming, just keep going. Clear and untangle, metaphysical mama, you're right. And then that's making me think about how we're already there and how we're already doing it, and that we are having chit chat, and it's beautiful and it's lovely, but it is already done because it's done inside our beingness. Every time we cry, every time we face a fear, every time we da da da, we are stepping into that new. And even just our beingness is assist. And then I would say, and the maybe assist, that is like an individual guidance thing. Everyone's going to be guided in that assisting factor in a different way, and perhaps what we might notice is that some people's assistance is just more obvious from a 3D perspective, but those here in this community understand that the empath and even the many people in the shadows of our civilization, they are ground control vibrational cleaning crew. There are tribes and aboriginal people and native people to this planet who already know that we're here. Ugh, oh, I'm getting a huge wave. Ugh. It's like the star people. It's the rainbow warriors. It's prophecy. Oh God, I'm getting shivers everywhere. Yeah, it's written in the stars, and like I guess I never would have expressed this out loud, but I feel that it's the star people, the star beings. Some of us came after Atlantis. Some of us came during the Muria. The Earth sent a call in the universe, and those of us beings who have risen to that light filled frequency, we responded to the call of the Earth. So we're here in service. Oh, you guys, hence us opening our galactic portal, which really is to me that just the crown chakra, and then allowing ourselves to download the information and the codes and the beingness and the experiences that's unavoidable, to then continue to be the expression of that light which we are. Because it's the light that we are that is going to shine and continue to help in waves, the collective awaken. And then all of us have unique skills, talents, things that feel good for us, that is what we're meant to share as well. Um, Interesting. Oh, maybe I might come around to that. So I'll noodle with it. I'm right now really stepping out of this any kind of martyrdom feeling, and this might just be personal to me, but I'm really wanting to step out of like feeling like other people are my responsibility anymore. I love all of humanity, and that's just to me the Christ. That is like the truth. We love each other. We just have love. Love is existence, and yet I think the construct of like thinking that I need to go back and save all of the people, or thinking that there's this big, I feel like that's the empathic wound. Like in a way, that drive that has always had me like working and trying to save and being so sad because I'm going to leave all these people behind. I think that's an illusion to try to keep me in toxic relationships, that I'm somehow responsible for these people's fulfillment. And I don't feel that to be true anymore, because energetically in this here now, I'm aware that I don't feel like I can move authentically, or continue to move authentically on my path, if I continue to go back to these people who want me to resolve this or do this or what have you. And I'm like, but that, yeah. So I feel that even just in our empowered state, as long as I just still focus on my love and my awakening, that my awakening is the awakening of all. So the idea of physicality, of going back into kind of the shadow, that's inherent in the aspect of expanding our light, right? Okay, cool. Love that metaphysical mama. Crabs in a bucket. I like that image, right? Self first. Yeah. But that's exactly. Yeah, yes, violet, violet, violet. So that's kind of, I think a lot of us, the more we go, we get to that as around like, and what if they really need to wake up and experience being your, exactly. So it's like stay true to your path. I know sometimes it's bittersweet, but stay true to your path because otherwise you'll have to come back again and do it all over. Right? Yeah, I got that metaphysical mama when I was doing a lot of my body love stuff. I kind of tuned into that of like the God source being like, and that's part of all these tears that come out is like you kind of are healing from how harsh you've been to yourself, like how mean you've been to yourself, and then there's like this beautiful innocent God child energy that's just like, oh, you're so lovely. Why would you ever not like yourself? Yeah. Pardon me. Right. Yes. Yes. Here, and that is a direct reflection. I basically I've transformed my guilt. I've transformed my shame. So if they're unwilling, but also their projection doesn't work on me anymore because I'm not carrying it, so it doesn't treat me the same way. So you can, and then actually your freedom is their freedom. So the more we let go of those attachments, actually, the more we uplift one another. Oh, right. Yeah. I'm having that visceral feels right now of like we're seriously like done. It's just we're jumping off, guys. So I'm gonna close her down. Lori, I feel that. That's for sure the intuitive recognition is like our healing, our just stay on the path, stay on your healing journey. People just come along as and when they're ready. But as we can tell, arrogantly trying to fix people and tell people how they should let go and da 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 da. That's not working for people anymore. That's starting to kind of run its course. People are on their journey. That is all they can pick and choose. All there is ultimately is resonance. It's the resonance biofeedback that more and more of us just want to focus on and pay attention to, and not the other. So I have to say this because it's kind of funny. I there's been like 2 or 3 times in the last probably like 20 minutes where I've grabbed my cup and taken like a sip, but there's no coffee in there's no coffee in this. And then I did it again. It was like there's still no coffee in it. So I just put my coffee in. Divine sight, sleep well, my friend. Crispy. I know, I know. It's so fucking true. And in straight up, I often tell people on retreat or on in yoga sessions, I'm like, and by the way, i.e., yoga will sometimes bring up this emotion. You might cry, but I'm not one of these people that's going to come up to you and be like, oh, meh." I'll just say, just cry. If you need to leave class and have a proper wail, go, go. As in making our emotional stuff totally fucking normal. Trivialize almost. Oh, good. Cry. Go, 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 go. Off you go. Go cry it out. Big fucking deal. Everyone's like, I almost cried, but I held it down. You're like, so? Like, we should cry. It's healthy. If anything, that's what we kind of want to do. We just want to reframe it. Crying is good. Crying is healthy for us. All of us are meant to cry. It helps us to transform and release dense plasma. Old commercial. I don't know. Interesting and hilarious. Hi, Crypto Mike. Image. Oh man, you guys are good. Childlike love is a weapon that disarms. Yeah, I feel that's just kind of what we're moving to, isn't it? Yeah, and then so on the polarity of like think a happy thought and then keep on moving on. Yes, I completely agree with that. And yet at the same time, be in the stew. Let yourself be in the shits and be in the despair and be in the grief and be like, wow, I'm the shit today. Or like, wow, I think about the days where we maybe just stay in our pajamas all day and like eat chocolate ice cream and just feel like a champion of life. And that I can still love that girl too. I straight up, no polarity. I have days where I just might naturally work for 12 hours. I don't know, creating emails and doing all this stuff. And then there's other days where I do nothing at all. I love both days equally. Yeah, divine sight. I got that about the hamstrings. And you guys watch out. I'm pretty sure divine sight and I will meet and congregate and do some good yoga hot love vibration in the world. Or that all of us somehow, because it's not just this, like there's this community, but then via this community there's like some of the other social media channels, but like there's a lot of you I know are phenom healers, basically like um healers, yogi types, but I really appreciate that we're meeting here because this is much more like authentic than, you guys know what I mean about like this is my true heart love bush, or like part of me leaving yoga industries or yoga companies or yoga was that I just kept getting like triggered by people's falseness and the fact that we come into the yoga studio like, all right, hey guys, okay, let's get really grounded, let's get really calm. And then we go home or we go out into the world and then we da 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 and we fucking shit on people. Or we pretend that, well, yeah, but yoga's yoga, but you still have to like make it work in the world and da da da. So I'm like, so you don't think that yoga can transform the world? So you don't think that we can actually rise above this fucking shitty system? You'd be like, what? Like they don't even fucking know about the system, and you're like, nah! So it's like rebel yogis unite. And I appreciate that. In fairness, Tara Stiles is a rebel yogi as well, and I do believe she gets it. It just um, well, she's just at a different place and doing her thing. So again, everyone in their function, all of us in our expansion destiny timing, and then we all get to come together. I feel like there might have been something else in the email, so I'm just gonna look over it. But either way, I do actually genuinely believe that at this point, the community coming together, the people that I'm working with, that we're beacons. Thank you, Chris. And in our own right, in our own community, we all have these skills that we're all just going to keep like drawing out from each other, so that we can just keep it going. It's not like we really have to do anything different. We just have to keep doing what we're doing. We have to keep going. We have to keep listening, keep tuning in, keep healing, and then that is all. I think we're doing great. Look at metaphysical mama. I just pulled an indigo card for us, and the friendship card popped right out with share your wisdom. How beautifully right on vibe. Honestly, this has been a really lovely morning and share with all of you. I'm so thankful that you've shown up for me, and I'm all over the place. Me too. Yeah. Yes and no. Weirdly, it's a funny one actually because I in moments like might feel like that, and then in other times it's like so yeah, where are you, Lori? Where in the world are you, kind of thing. um okay, I love us all, love us all, love us all. Major awesome love heart vibration for all of you. Idaho. Okay, cool. I've driven through a bit of Idaho, I think. Anyway, you guys, I have so much love for you. I really, I definitely will. Maybe like a road trip. I'll get some ultra love camper van. like the mystery shagadelic van. I shall manifest a travel crew, and we'll just do pop-up yoga sessions everywhere and have like what are they called? Dictaphones or whatever. Be like, break free from the system! Join Ultra. Hire me. I will. I will. Like, honestly, I'm sure I could get a camper van, or maybe the Ultra Love van, and then more vans could join in. It's like when Forrest Gump did the run or the walk or whatever he did across country. We could do it van life. Anyway, look at my kooky ideas. I love it. I will come. I'll come out. We'll come. We'll drive from east to west. Oh. OMG, metaphysical mama, thought bomb, idea bomb is dropping. So literally, this is something that we could seed in our minds as far as like, I'll have the Ultra Love van and we'll have like the supplies, the yoga mats, like, I don't know, between us all, we could probably have a good like 20 to 30 to 40 mats on us. And then we just tour around the country promoting these pop-up like, and then again we have the Ultra Love van, which maybe blasts some lovely music, and then you have your food truck, and then we have like a few maybe like assisting healers or yoga teachers or gong people, you know what I mean, or like drums, and like we just literally pop up in different parts of the nation and do like little drum circles and offer food and like do pop up yoga and just accept donations from people and be legit transparent and say your donations are helping us to keep going. That was a great idea. Oh my god. We are the dream tribe. We are the dream. Look at 1313 at 13636. The Partridge Family bus. Yes. Hilarious. So down. Okay, I really like, and also this is not like new. This is like a recurring, like the land, like the tribal land stuff, and us having more actual bases and community to support one another. The van is like another thing as a this is how my brain works. Like that was a random marketing idea. I'm like, I know, I could just drive around and promote Ultra Love with the van, making it really kind of colorful and hippie-ish, but modern day hippie. And then, because to me, it's something that builds momentum, right? The traveling wave. Yeah, it's something that, like, yeah, moves. We start off and we might have three of us, and there might be one passerby that joins in and buys a sani and comes to yoga on acid. I'm just reading Chris's thing. um, why not? Why not? I never done acid. I'm not sure. I'm like, but we could try. Yeah, we just have loads of fun, and that it's like a real thing, and it's pure revolutionary. That's the thing. It's like, come to the UK. We could do a 3-month tour of the UK, and then we could go to America, 3-month tour of America, go to Australia, 3-month tour of Australia, like literally do a global Ultra Love tour, all to love. That's all. It's not that fucking complicated, you know? And then that would give it would take probably a year and a half to do all these different tours. And then there's more global love leaders, and or one thing that would be useful, because then you'd meet so many people, but it'd be a really good way to link the new paradigm circuit, because there's definitely like a new grid. That's the mathematical energy that I'm feeling into in my awareness, is that there's definitely a new grid. And the new paradigm light bubbles is how I see the grid developing, because it's like, so you have the beams and the bubbles, and they're like lighting up in different parts of the globe, mostly around the ley lines and sacred sites, obviously. Hence why some of the unsacred sites are being burned down, because we need to shift certain structural pillars off of those ley lines, and or burn the energetic code off. And then, yeah. I lost it, whatever I was saying. Yeah, oh, right, the grid, and then so the bubbles, and then the pillars, and then you imagine, like, how you see plane maps, and, like, all these so where the old grid structure was a lot more like the Karchin thing of, like, and everybody's supposed to fit into these, like, narrow things. The new, more light-filled grid is a lot more, fluid. Like, rather than like, I guess that's fair. It's so rather than mechanical and structured and man-made, it's organic. It's fluid. It's in alignment with Earth. Violet Melon, literally talking and thinking same thing at same time. It's and Mary, all of us. It's alive and moving. Exactly. It's organic and alive. That's a thing. So it's like that is another example. It's like the grid is us living dead, enslaved, soul sold to devil kind of thing. And then these new grids are like sentient, conscious human avatars being responsible co-creators in this realm. Bringing back our mythical fairy elemental dragon creatures and having a lot more fun here. It's just the way for the course. Ooh, mycelium network. What is that? I wonder. Yeah, I know. See, this is why it's so beautiful, refreshing, and awesome to like have these conversations with like minds because it's like, yeah, exactly. And like it's so obvious and has been so obvious in my mind for so long, and yet brilliant. Like people seeing the same vision, people feeling into the same possibility or potential, right? Because same what uh metaphysical I think said something about however we are able to move off of the land and sway with the wind. Yeah, because my thing is like I've never wanted to be only having one base and just be stay there forever and have like one holiday a year. I really love being able to the idea of having like a place in Portugal that I go for 3 months and then a place in the UK that I can come for festival season and yeah. um place in Canada so that I can like visit some family and like so it's like and I don't and because of the empath heart I don't know if you res with this, but like for me, I have no real serious interest in like owning things. I'm not concerned about having my possession or having my whatever, my stuff. I just want to be able to have homes and share them and also live them and be safe and secure and supported and blah 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 blah. And like and the point is that from new paradigm, that's what we all deserve. That's what we all should have house swaps. So that's what I've started doing this summer. So that's what's happening in I'm going to Portugal. I'll show you guys. I'm going to Portugal for 4 weeks basically. So if you guys want to come and visit me, this is the sweet villa. So Salt and Sun Yoga. It's very South Portugal. All around like where all of the beaches and stuff are. And yeah, so I'm staying in this beautiful villa and I'm teaching yoga at a local cafe 6 days a week. And that's kind of just how I see my life. It's just the fact that when it comes to manifestation, we often have to keep moving in that direction and then everything will kind of configure around you. So I'm kind of getting that sense connection of the new energies, the new rhythms embedded, but again they're never going to be embedded the way we were like embedded before in planning and micromanaging our bodies and our lives. There's just more flow, which for more and more of us just feels better because we've worked through enough of the shit to then move up. Is that wrong? Is what wrong? No, nothing is wrong. I would say, nothing is really inherently wrong, it just is. there's that, I guess, our polarity of, hey, violet menon, land of my ancestors, mm, migrate with the seasons. There is a little bit of that. Um, and also it's just, my personal body chemistry has changed, and um I find the wet and the damp and the cold just too much after a while. I don't want to have to be permanently based in a cold, wet climate. I need and desire to be in sunny climates for chunks of time. Not just a week long holiday. That's not enough. But going to Bali, going to Indonesia, going to Portugal for, pardon me, a month or 2 months a year or something is the way, right? Oh, Mary's talking about requiring that folks clean the WC on their way out. LOL, hilarious. Well, do you get that though? Have you ever noticed in some toilets they actually have little signs saying that to people, like, "Could you please wash up after yourself?" And it's just kind of funny. I mean, although for a lot of us, we would be those people. Those people, if when you kind of live cleanly and purely, you tend to do that everywhere you go. I clean up my hotel rooms. I clean up my Airbnbs. I don't leave messes for the fucking staff. I don't leave it. You know what I mean? It's respect. It's having consideration. Consider what it would be like to be that person after cleaning 25 rooms. Do you think right? So I'm like, you just respect. Portugal, Violet Melon. And by the way, you guys, come visit. I think my mom's coming out, so come visit me in Portugal. And you can either stay in days. I'm sure there's going to be a really cheap Airbnb or hotel or hostel even that you can stay in. And again, I'm going to be teaching July 23rd until August 15th, I think, or 16th. So like three and a bit weeks. So yeah, if you wanted to randomly come to Portugal for holidays, I'll let you know like the area that I'm in and where I'm teaching, and then you could just come to Portugal for like a week or 10 days and come to yoga with me. We could try doing different yoga in the area, and then like go surfing and have fun. So yeah. Oh wait, and I also want to go to your comment up here, mystical mama. My daughter Ava wrote when she was 8, presently 10, forces of nature. That's what makes a star. We may look like girls, but that's not all we are. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna have emotion. So apparently, I'm pretty sure all of you are gonna have like total rainbow kids, crystalline, because my heart just felt it. I'm like, she's just gold. She just knows everything already. Oh my, I love you guys. We are everything and nothing. That's the great mystery. That's the great humility of all of it. Yeah, we are everything and nothing as well. Otherwise, we couldn't be the everything if we didn't also contain the nothing, right? Yeah. My son graduates from high school. Oh, interesting, Chris. I, for some reason, again, it's not like I can see your handles extraordinarily well or anything, but um, gremlins. Chris, for some reason in your handle or something, I just assumed that you were uh so you're saying my son's in high school. I'm like that. Anyway, for some reason I thought you were like 21 or something. I don't know why. I think there's a image of you, and from this distance it just looks like you have like a cool hat on, and yeah, you look young. And yeah, congrats, kiss, congrats, Chris. I don't really age. Brilliant. None of us do. uh, Although I do feel with each generation, that's part of the shift is that we're not aging in the same way. Our bodies don't have to age in the same way. I don't age either. Let's all own that. And that would be a great way to teach the masses, wouldn't it? We all embody perfect divine human form and we don't age. They'll be like, "What's your secret?" You'll be like, "I feel my emotions hardcore deep." But feeling my emotions allows my body plasma to continuously regenerate. And so I'm like, "What is life?" Life is now. Um, right, all right. I love hats. I know, I know. Okay, you guys, so we're here, we're good. I It's almost 2 hours. I just have so much joy here with you all. Yeah, so metaphysicals, Mama is saying like that's what brings us into lower vibrations is holding on. Once we start to in this regenesis, once we start to flow with the emotional body, unite the mind with that emotional field, then we become that regenesis, and there's no need to age in the way we've been programmed to age. However, there's a lot of, again, vibrational cleanup crew for us to restore ourselves to that symbiotic balance with the regenesis state, because it's been a while. There's a lot of forgetfulness in our DNA and mind. Hence, again, coming together to congregate to start to yoke and work in that field. It's accessible to us. There's just a still limited amount of beings that are focusing on it. What's happening is like a greater part of the collective is starting to move into that, right? Okay. I'm gonna go, you guys. Oh, Seely Jane, I'm so like I love you. I just have so much love for you. I'm sloshing through them at these days. This year for me has been like that. I had certain expectations of my own egoic projection of what this year was going to be like, and in a just for whatever divine purpose, it was actually the opposite. It was like this stuff, like these depths, the suicidal thoughts, not wanting to be here, bottoming out in things, losing, like just fucking crazy, and like still managing to get some stuff done, but a whole bunch of stuff that I thought was sorted out that I'm still facing. I'm still looking at. I'm still standing down the devil inside me. I'm still standing down all that despair, all that grief, all that ugliness, all that fear, and saying like, I know you. I know what you are. I know that illusion, and I'm gonna love it all. And I'm going to go deeper and know the truth that I deserve my dream. I deserve my beauty. I deserve my joy. I deserve my freedom. I deserve my well being. I deserve my perfect body. We deserve. Because if we deserve, then everybody deserves. And that is freedom. Yeah, lots of old crap. Honestly, Celie, like there's part of me in moments that I feel like it's literally our every single lifetime. That's why this is so significant. It's not like just this life. It's like every single lifetime, all of our ancestral karma, all of our ancestral lineage and patterning and genetic coding, and every single when it comes to a belt, it's a frequency belt of a base tone of hence quantum leap. Like we go from here and now we're going up to here, which for most of us, if not all of us, we've never experienced in form. That's why we're here. It's why we answered the call. This is part of Earth's trajectory. She always moves from these energy frequency belts. So it's like anyone answering a call anytime would be endeavoring to ride this wave of physical transformation. I'm healing ancestral trauma too. Yeah, Celie Jane, I this year there's been a lot of ancestral. I feel my ancestral very much in my body because it's not mine. I can feel that, but I know I have to keep sitting with it to move through it. Hence why this felt so deep and profound and a bit like what the fuck. because it's a lot of this energy is moving through us right now where it's not personal to us. It's just what needs to be cleared. It's like we're like it's like the dark energy is almost like moth to a flame to our presence. It's just sort of coming at us so that we can move it and shift it, right? I know, I know. It's just like again, I can get teary when I think of that. And yet all of it is like it's like you push her, she pushes back. And that is part of the increasing chaos. We're not going back. There's no we're not, and so we're just anchoring in deeper and deeper and deeper and getting better and better at holding it and knowing the truth of our being, you know? There's a lot of invisible stuff going on, which is great. That's right. The daughters of Gaia assisting in cleaning the water. So there are a lot of native folk here doing that work, and hence the star beings, the star people. Mm. The majority of us, I would say, resonate with that. As in, you resonate more with cosmic energy than earthly energy, but you love Earth and Earth. Like, yeah, you love Earth and all the Earthlings. It's just this beautiful place. Plus, Earth's divine blueprint is that of a light-filled guardianship essence, right? So those of us in that polarity of light in our universe, then we are here to reinstate the divine blueprint of planet Earth. Although that could just be our own human ego. Earth is planned, just like we can do our own self awakening. Earth is also on her journey, and she's gonna just get there no matter what. So, yeah. So let's just trust it, and I think for a lot of us, it's just like have faith and just keep looking toward more play, more fun, more rest, more love, more play, more fun, more rest, more love, and then we'll just keep. And then also feels. Because yeah, the yesterday was just kinda crying for hours at a time. Yeah, because Earth is in the cosmos. Isn't it weird that there's still a whole bunch of people walking around being like, "Brr, brr, brr, 3D reality, it's very important." And we're all like, "Guys." Like, we're in an infinite cosmos. Let's tune into that. And we're all like, "Yeah, I know, isn't it awesome?" And then they're like, like, "We come in peace." But we do, and always have done. Just the light frightened the people here, so they killed us loads. Okay, you guys. Mm, amazing, amazing, you all, that we're having all of this. I literally had a moment of being like, ah, she's a witch, and I'm like, no. I know, right? Like, night, night, lovelies. Lori, Divine, Metaphysical Mama, and thank you guys all for showing up, for being here, and like supporting each other, because clearly we're all like dropping nuggets of love and wisdom, and it's all supporting and helping one another, right? America, the beast. With love, right? Violet Melon, Crispy. Yeah, yeah, I know. We're none of us are really void of this ridiculous consumerism, right? But anyway, guys, it's been so much fun this morning. Have a glorious, glorious night or day, or wherever you are in the world. You know that there's just so much love here for all of us, and let's not repeat history. Let's learn from the witches and the wizards rather than kill them. And like our native, because let's be honest, most of us privileged people got that way because we stole the land from people that were actually living in harmony. So let's learn from the native people and also maybe apologize for the fact that we almost wiped you out. But like obviously sincere apology. Like, sorry, holy shit. I can't believe my ancestors did that. And then they can be like, that's okay. Can we all meet somewhere where we get that the land is important? Yes. Okay, look, I just did a little ramble. How funny. Brian Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. I've seen Rod Stewart randomly. I remember going to a concert when I was like 10 years old. All right, you guys, I love you. I'm out. Have a great day. Virtual hugs and I don't know why I'm doing that. That weird like anyway, I love you guys. Oh, so refreshing to speak with awakened people who feel it and who get the same stuff. Because you're like, yeah, I that was real, and I don't want to deny it no more. As in, our great countries have pretty much become great by slaughtering people and instilling fear. So, yeah. Anywho, I love you all. We can empower our path to freedom for sure. Big hugs. All burning bright. One love. I see. I just do this like da da da, and I suddenly go like, no, 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 guys. It's not that kind of group, okay? All right. I love you guys. Peace out. Have a great day.